Welcome back to third installment of this little video series. I am the faceless purveyor of self-truth, kinda like Dr. Claw from Inspector Gadget, without the evil. Uh, yes, 3 videos in 3 days. I know it seems like a lot, but you know what? No one's really watching at this point. And I've had some free time, so why not? This particular video will discuss two things. First, uh, when did we begin to write off something without giving it a chance? And that will kind of tie into something later on. But, for example, Bob's Burgers, the new Fox cartoon. A lot of people were like, the previews make it look bad. It looks like it's gonna suck. And I was like, you know what? No. I thought that, we should give it a chance. And with some of the cast on it and whatnot, I like it. I think it's a great addition to the Sunday lineup. And I've laughed at all 3 episodes. But people are like, it sucks. I've only watched the previews of 10 minutes. And I'm like, how much can you get from 10 minutes of an episode? Or how are you judging it on the previews alone? Of course it's gonna suck if you're not giving it a full chance. And I kind of, I guess I just feel like, when did we become so inclined to say, I only gave it like 5 minutes? It sucks. Do you turn off a movie in 5 minutes? Do you turn off write off a band after one song? Not really. You give them a chance. And I think that's what, people should do. Give them chances. Which ties into the second part and the main part of this video. My love-hate relationship with the independent wrestling scene. And I know more independent wrestling talk. Oh god. But if you watch the first video, which if you haven't, go do it now. If you haven't, I thought about how I love independent wrestling and how I'm a big supporter of it, of all kinds, and how people should watch it more. But my problem with it is the fact that the upper tier, the Shikara, Ring of Honor, all that good stuff that people rant and rave about, employs this can you top this indie-tastic style, I've coined it, where two people, two teams, whatever, go out there and 15, 20 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, just like, oh, he hit him with a brainbuster, and he hit him with a stiff kick, and he hit him with a roaring elbow, and he kicks out. And that's like 5 minutes into the match, and they still got 10 minutes to fill, and it's just big spot after big spot with kick out, and this is awesome. That's great. That's actually entertaining in small doses, not in these large quantities that is filling the indie scene. And for many reasons. The biggest one is without the sense of pacing or psychology or selling, and it's just sell the move, go to the next spot. Sell the move, go to the next spot. That's entertaining to watch. Like Roderick Strong and Dave Richards, I believe, from the last Ring of Honor pay-per-view. I got the story. Dave is a never say die, fighter, warrior, great guy, yeah. But he's taking like 6,000 finishers and he's just kicking out. How believable is that? You get to a point where you throw believability out the window. And yeah, wrestling, has its, it's kind of, you suspend your belief a little bit and all that stuff. But you get to a point where just like, why? It's like kind of like you can present the stories you're trying to get of strong warriors and never say die attitudes better without killing them. And even more so, when your whole show's like that, it spoils the matches. The Homicide Daniels match from that same pay-per-view was a solid little TV style match. And everyone was like, that was the worst match I've ever seen. It was only bad because they didn't spoil you for 20 minutes with a bunch of finishers and all this nonsense. They kept it simple, and they finished with one spot, and that was it. They didn't try to kill each other for the sake of the fans, so they can go, ah, greatest match ever. And that's the thing. All these people trying to get the greatest match ever. There's no sense of style or pacing or just setting up this, pace in the card. There's no like, okay, openers 10 minutes, great. Your main event, your big matches, those are things. That doesn't mean every other match should be about who can hit the most spots and who can do the coolest moves. And go back and watch the old NWA Championship Wrestling from Florida, AWA stuff. Some of the best stuff in there was the very simplistic stuff. And I'm going to use one of my favorite angles in the business. Raven brainwashes Tyler Fullington, or is it Sandman's son. And they have a cage match. It's like Gordy and Steve Richards and Brian Lee and Dreamer. And they get to a point where they do this spot where Raven's cuffed to the cage and Sandman wants to cane him. Tyler comes in, does the Raven pose. Such simple storytelling and such playing up to the feud. And this whole match is built on this basically chaotic brawl. Not about spots or who can do the coolest thing. It's just simple. You tell a story with your match, with your actions. I think people are forgetting that. There's no sense of story or pacing. It's just he did the most moves. He did the coolest moves. They won 20 minutes. Great, like today's Chicago show. Without spoilers, the opener won 20 minutes. Okay, opener's supposed to be getting the crowd pumped up and whatnot. But why 20 minutes? Why not 10? Did they have to hit every spot in their arsenal? Kingston and Generico went 17 minutes. Okay, you don't bring in Generico to get 10 minutes, and it's a big match, dream match, yada yada. That's okay. Your main event went 20 minutes. That's cool. I like that, but everything else went. I didn't know the times, but I'm hard pressed to believe that not only did this matches not go a decent amount of time, but they didn't try to kill each other and spoil the crowd. And I think that style needs to die because matches get overshadowed and feel less important because, the middle of the road, exhibition match was 10 times more better, with work rate than the main event, which is story driven. It gets to the point where I feel like, why have feuds and angles? We can just do exhibition matches because that's all people seem to care about. Yeah, the Chicago fans care about storylines, and I'm glad, and they have some great storylines and whatnot, but it's like, those people, rather see exhibition and cool moves and flashy spots, and not try to have a story told, not try to have something that makes sense. At what point in time does 20 super kicks throughout the night, and 20 near falls, and a 10-minute match, and all these big spots kicking out, and shoulders up, and when does that get old? Because it gets old to me by match 3, and then I still got 4 matches to go, 6 matches to go, whatever. And if it didn't plague the indie scene, I'd be happy, but it's above that upper tier, and everyone just tries way too hard. And I think it's getting to a point where the fans expect it. When they don't get it, they get all pissy and like they're entitled to it. You're not entitled to a great match based on work rate. You're entitled to a great match because of what the wrestlers can bring to the table. And I think that's one of the things I really hate about independent wrestling. Why I like the local scenes, because they don't try to do that. They let it all come naturally. But what I love about independent wrestling is the different styles and the different people and the young guys and all this stuff. And one of the things I hate, and I'll go back to the other point from the video, is people not willing to try new things. And I talked about it in the first one, but these people like, 10 people in a high school gym, or I can't hear the promos. Yeah, that you have valid points, but is that taking away from the in-ring product? When did wrestling become about promos and flashy Titantrons and pyro and all this stuff? I mean, it makes the product easier to enjoy, yes, I won't deny that, but when did it become about, that stuff? Why can't it be about the in-ring product? Why can't what they do in the ring and angles and the storylines and whatnot. Why can't that entertain you? Why does it need to be inside of a Madison Square Garden in front of 60,000 people? You know, if WWE had Raw one night in the high school gym for the 30 people, would it suck? Even if they had the most top-notch Raw? No. It'd be amazing. So I think people need to shed these cliches and stereotypes and give these things a chance before writing them off. Another thing, here's my question to all the independent wrestlers out there. Is it that hard to get wrestling gear? Like, I know struggling wrestlers and all this stuff. I'm not saying you need to go out there and have the the most perfectly designed wrestling gear. No. But can you get a pair of generic trunks, maybe some kick pads or something? If you're an independent, if you're a wrestler of any kind, and you're coming out there in street clothes and sweatpants, and there is not a reason behind it, it is not a street fight, it is not a promo or anything like that, it's just you coming out there for the sake of whatever, and you're wrestling in that stuff, no, shame on you. Please get gear. Pair of wrestling shoes, knee pads, and generic trunks, so you can get some money together to get something that suits your gimmick. And if it fits your gimmick like Raven and Justin Credible had the street clothes on, then you can make it work. But don't tell me, I'm Bret Hart, I'm like the greatest technical wrestler, and then you come out in like street clothes. I can't take you seriously, I'm sorry. I won't take you seriously. You can't tell me that you're going to be the best technical wrestler in your roster and you're wearing street clothes and jeans in the ring. I'm not going to buy it. I'm sorry. So, you know, for the most part, I love the independent scene. I love the young blood out there. So much is, you know, from watching it and all that stuff. It's just fun to watch. You get so much new stuff and new styles and new wrestlers and the future of wrestling right there. In like FCW and not OVW anymore, but like Chikara, Ring of Honor, the local stuff like Clash and AIW and you know, all these places across the United States and whatnot. But, you know, I just think that the upper tier needs to shed these ideas and try to embrace what wrestling's about. You know, storytelling and psychology and great matches that come from, you know, come naturally instead of trying to force it. You know, when I see a Shikara show that doesn't have 30 stiff shots and like 10 super kicks up and down the card, then, you know, I might be a little bit happier. And in fact, that indie-tastic style has gotten so bad that the backyarders, and I don't mind the backyarders, at least they're not hitting each other with light tubes and whatnot anymore, and they're trying with gear and rings and stuff. It's kudos to them. But these are the kids, the self-taught kids who get booked on actual shows because they can do a bunch of cool moves. So, you know, this style needs to change. And with that said, I am out for now.